This is the discussion table with
Avery, he, they.
Ripley, they, them.
River, she, her.
And we'll be talking about mental health and LGBTQ plus topics on this podcast. For this episode, we will be talking about queer baiting in media.
Alright, so what is queerbaiting? Queerbaiting is typically used to draw audiences into a piece of media, and its intention is never to be meaningfully exploring queerness. It is always a negative impact. There is also when an author, director, etc. gives hints and clever twists to paint a character as possibly being queer to satisfy queer audiences, but never always says that they are queer so they can keep their heterosexual audiences. But there is also queer coding, which can get confused with queerbaiting, which is both use subtext to hint at queerness and both can have negative impacts. But queer coding has historically been used to explore sexuality when this may not have been allowed otherwise. Queer coding exists in neutral space and can be used both positively and negatively. Queer coding is also a term used to say that characters were given traits or behaviors to suggest they may not be heterosexual or cisgender, without the character being outright confirmed to have a queer identity. So, should we do examples of queer baiting and queer coding? We could do afterwards.
Okay, so the first example, the most recent, I think, is... no, it's not the most recent.
But one of the more recent-ish?
Yes. So, Billie Eilish. So, we all love her, you know, she's great. But she posted an Instagram photo with the caption, "I love girls," during Pride Month. So, fans were like, oh my god, is she bisexual? Is she lesbian? No. It's never been confirmed. So, that was definitely queerbaiting, and I'm not sure what video, but there was a video where there was a whole bunch of girls playing, having fun, you know? And that seems rather male-gazy. Like,
kind of fetishizing lesbians and stuff?
Yeah.
Like they often do.
Yeah. And then Rihanna and Shakira. So, the Can't Remember to Forget You music video is definitely fetishizing women-loving women. That is just watch it if you need to know, but basically they're acting sexual with each other, and neither are queer or in a relationship.
Oh.
So, or in a relationship with each other, I mean. Now, BBC, 2 shows, actually, that we know of, or are going to include in this episode. So, Sherlock. I personally haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah. I watched Sherlock Holmes, so... oftentimes there was a lot of times people mistaking Holmes and Sherlock to be dating, or like where other people would imply that they're a couple or something, and like John Watson, his companion or whatever, would often be like, "I'm not gay, leave me out of this," which often can be seen as queer baiting because they're constantly implying that he's gay when he isn't, and ends up obviously marrying a woman. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know what I mean.
And then BBC's Merlin. So I watched, I don't know how many episodes, but Merlin and Arthur, I can't remember the characters' names. I hope those are 2 different people, not the same.
Yeah, no, Merlin and Arthur, 2 separate characters.
Okay,
I watched like the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I never got past that, but...
So they were like, they cared about each other a lot.
They were literally, like, I heard supposed to be, like, each other's other halves and stuff. You know, kind of like soulmate-y. But they're like, oh, they're not gay, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're soulmates, but they're not gay.
So that was obviously queerbaiting. It's just, apparently BBC has a problem with that. They want to bring in the queer audience, but they won't actually give them what they want.
So why bring them in, then?
Yeah, they just...
Money.
They want more money.
Also, for the Billie Eilish post that you were talking about, looks like all of it was... The caption was just supposed to go through the music video she posted for that time. That's the whole point of the caption, I guess. Because it just has girls in it.
Yeah.
They're supposed to just go with the music video.
That's kind of random. Just, like, Like, of all captions you could have put, it's like, here's a video, there are a lot of girls in the videos. I love girls.
Literally, the song is called Lost Cause. It's supposed to go with that video.
And during Pride Month is just weird.
Yeah.
Wrong time to post it.
Yeah. So they know what they were doing. Like, her and her production team.
Yeah.
Or social
probably.
media team or whatever. So then, Teen Wolf. I watched the entire show because I loved it.
I watched like just the second season. I never got into the third season and I couldn't find the first season, so I heard first season was better.
I just watched the first 2 episodes.
So in this show, Styles Stilinski and Derek Hale are
like often queer baited together.
They are. So they have like a typical love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Where they're like always bantering, and not everyone, but a lot of fans are like, they should be together because they're so close to being together already.
Yeah, it's basically like where in a typical, if it was a straight relationship, they would have been together like a long time ago, but because it's gay, they refuse to do it. And I'll probably add an unnecessarily love interest just to be like, wait, they're totally not gay. Look, he's dating a girl.
Oh, there was love interest. Lydia, I can't remember her last name, but Lydia was Styles's
love interest.
Yeah. And Derek also had a love interest. I can't remember her name, but she also like killed his entire family.
Wasn't her name Laura?
No, that was his sister.
Oh.
I know who you're talking about.
Kate. I think her name was Kate. And that was his love interest before.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, so they're so desperate to not make them gay that they'll make them date, like, horrible people. Well, Styles didn't date a horrible person, but whatever. So next...
You get the point.
Yeah, you get the point. So then, Riverdale. So there was the very, very unnecessary kissing scene between Veronica and Betty.
Yeah, because I watched, like, the first season or 2, I think.
I
I stopped while I was ahead, which I'm grateful for, because it gets really weird.
Yeah.
I stopped at the 3rd episode because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to see where the show gets to. I'm just gonna stop.
Sometimes it's better to just stop while you're ahead.
Exactly.
Because I think it's really weird now. So that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Veronica and Betty scene was definitely queer baiting.
It was unnecessary.
They just...
I understand for Cheryl and Tony.
Oh, yeah, because there was, like, sapphic rep and stuff on there.
Yeah, they were dating.
Yeah.
But for Veronica, who was with Archie at the time, and Betty, who was with Jughead, but...
It was just weird.
It didn't need to happen.
It didn't, really.
And one of my personal problems with Riverdale is that Jughead has a love interest at all. Because in the comics, Archie and Friends, which I loved as a kid.
Oh, I read those as a kid, too, because they'd always be at the grocery store, and I'd go and buy them all the time and stuff, and be like, we gotta find the next one.
Yeah, so in the comics, it was very much speculated or confirmed, I don't know, that Jughead was asexual.
Yeah, because I think there was, not supposed to be, but there was, this girl who liked him or something, and then he was just like, you know what, lady, I'm good.
Yeah. So that might also be queer baiting, but who knows?
Yeah.
That might have been actually...
queer coding more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, this one is not really queer baiting, more queer coding, but...
Yeah, the newest, one of the newer Disney movies that just came out this summer, it was Luca, which was based off, which was, in Italy, and it had, these mermaids kind of things, these sea creatures that could turn into people when they get on dry land.
Yeah,
which reminds me of a movie I can't remember at the moment, but...
they weren't supposed to be on land at the time, but
which basically was there was a lot of queer coding because after that came out, a lot of queer people really related to the movie, but I don't think it was really it wasn't meant to be a sort of symbol of queer baiting or anything. So essentially, it was more queer coding because queer people related to the story that was being told without the producers purposely trying to make it queer.
And everyone thought that, was it Luca or, I forgot his friend's name.
Alberto, I think.
Alberto. Were gay? If you think about it, everyone thought the whole movie was based off of them going to get together.
Well, yeah, because essentially there was no love interest, and it was just the two of them trying to, face the human world together, which essentially is pretty queer.
And I always put the pieces together, they're gay because the color they were, their...
Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of people compare them to the...
It was one that was raised to the gay flag.
Yeah, the gay flag, yeah.
Yeah.
Then K-pop. So K-pop as a whole, an industry. So in general, K-pop idols, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
They are generally androgynous. The men are generally androgynous. They're sexually ambiguous. And one thing I want to bring up is skinship.
What's
so skinship is like when I'm not sure what like countries it's specific to, but like Asian men like to like be physically affectionate. So skinship might be twisted to make it into a queer thing. So it might just be people like friends
being friends
in
Yeah,
the way
especially
that's
with-
culturally normal.
because with celebrities you can like I want to say you can't always tell because like I've heard like people speculate if Taylor Swift is like bisexual or something, but she's never confirmed it. And really, if a celebrity doesn't want to like confirm their sexuality or anything, that's really none of our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, she's not queerbaiting anyone, even if sometimes people might think she's queer.
So K-pop, I don't think that's queerbaiting. I think it's just misinterpretation.
Yeah, especially in a Western society where not a lot of people touch each other. Like, well, not like that, like
they
in
aren't
other parts of the
physically
world,
affectionate.
Yeah, and I think it's more people are more open to being physically affectionate and stuff. Like in Western society, it's less. So, if that makes sense.
So then the next one is Supernatural, which I only watched a few episodes because it was like
I kind of
weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but like I kind of went through and just watched like a bunch of random episodes, just anything I thought looked interesting. But essentially in Supernatural, there was a ton of queer baiting, specifically between two of the main characters, which is Dean and Castiel, because they were essentially queer baited for years. There was a lot of like romantic tension or whatever between them, and then at the end of the season, like 2 episodes before the last season ended, which recently just happened last year, Castiel, one of the characters, confessed his love for Dean Winchester, and then they immediately killed him off. Like, he did it right before he died. And then they killed Dean off, like, an episode later. So there was, like, a lot of grayer gays. Because there was also... Oh,
Spoilers.
Spoilers,
Yeah, I did
guess,
not know that.
if you really wanted to go watch it. But a lot of people already know this. And then there was, like, a ton of other queer... Brayer gay trope a lot, because there was like this lesbian like Dean was friends with and stuff, and they killed her off.
What?
Well, I honestly can't tell, because they kill everybody off in that show, and then they'll bring him back, and then they'll kill him off again. But they never brought her back, so
Why?
Eh.
If you're gonna make a good show, and have a good
It wasn't a good show though.
Okay, but if you're gonna make a show, have characters on there, why kill them off, bring them back to life, just to kill them off again?
Just decide. Like,
You want them you want them alive? You don't want them alive. Pick one.
I don't know.
That
Like,
sounds so-
especially
that sounds
Supernatural
so
stuff
wrong.
really played a lot, like, with death a lot, and they were like, they're dead. No, they're alive. They're dead. They're alive again. They're actually dead for real. We swear. No, they're alive. We
Like,
lied.
okay, your comfort character dies. You see them
It's
again
like,
like
they'll
two
just be back next season. It's
like you see them
fine.
again in the next season, and then they're gone again. Then
Yeah.
they're back. Then they're,
okay, anyways.
make up your mind.
Now, okay, so Voltron.
I heard that Voltron was queerbaiting a lot between 2 characters.
I think the ship is Clance.
Yeah, which is Keith and Lance.
Keith and Lance,
I
yeah.
never watched it, but I heard that was like a super...
It was horrible queerbaiting.
Yeah, like it was a super popular queerbaiting ship because it was so terrible,
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
So we don't have a lot about that
No,
because
because
none of us
us
have watched it.
I've never seen Voltron before.
You see, all I can remember is Age of Ultron for a second there.
Okay,
Oops.
yeah.
Another one, though, is Harry Potter, technically, because, like, with Dumbledore and stuff, that's essentially queerbaiting, because there was no actual representation, and then after the book, she's like, oh, this is, what, Dumbledore?
We talked about this
He's
in
gay.
the last episode as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But, like, there was no representation, and making the most random person ever gay is so weird.
It's honestly a different
Especially when
type.
the series is done.
It's a different type of queerbaiting. It's like Yeah, after the fact, there's no hints at all, but he's gay, you know.
Do you even have a love interest?
Yes. After the main series was done.
In the Fantastic Beasts, there's the villain is supposed to be his love interest, which is super weird and also supposed to be unhealthy and toxic, which is also super weird. How do those two books how does that It was weird. I mean, J.K. Rowling just kind of sucks at writing, so I'm not surprised.
Okay, so now...
Take all offense to that, by the way.
Okay, so now, what is not queer baiting? So I found 4 movies, I think. I found 4 and Avery found 1. Mm-hmm. So I found mine from a list of 200 best LGBTQ plus movies. Oh. And I got number 1, number 2, number 10, and number 20. So number 1 is the best movie ever, obviously. It's Moonlight. So the synopsis is a look at 3 defining chapters in the life of Chiron, a young black man growing up in Miami. His epic journey to manhood is guided by the kindness, support, and love of the community that helps raise him. So I watched this movie several times. It's amazing. It has 98% Rotten Tomatoes, and Rotten Tomatoes is rather reputable, so... Obviously, it's the best movie on Earth.
I've seen a bit of it. Now looking at it and stuff, I've actually seen a bit of the movie.
Yeah, so you might recognize the poster if you look it up.
I've seen the poster a lot. So.
Yeah, and I think it's taken off Netflix right now, but you can find it elsewhere.
I don't think it's on Netflix anymore.
Yeah, Netflix takes all the queer movies off.
Oh, for sure.
They
have some queer movies, but at this point, like, none of them are, like, super interesting. It's none of the popular good queer movies anymore.
So they take off the good stuff, but leave Riverdale up there.
Yeah, Riverdale will keep going
I think it's because Riverdale isn't it a Netflix made series?
I don't know.
So.
I
think it is.
I don't know. Like, to everyone who watches Riverdale, like to all the Riverdale fans, not trying to be rude at all, but
I don't apologize.
I am. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be rude at all. But
it was a terrible series. Sometimes you gotta know that. You know, like you watch something, you're like, it does suck, but whatever. You know?
So, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, it could have done a bit better. Like, going forward, the season just got...
Everything got weird.
Okay, so number 2 on the list of 200 best LGBTQ plus movies is Call Me By Your Name. So, I think everyone in the world has watched this.
Have you seen Call Me By Your Name?
Is that a song?
That's a song after it was a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, the movie and book by Andreas Seaman. I really hope I said his name right. So, I feel very conflicted about this movie. It was a beautifully made movie.
It was a good movie.
It was amazing.
It was just like a small town Italian gays living their life.
Okay, wait. And, synopsis first.
Synopsis.
It's the summer of 1983, and precocious 17-year-old Elio Perlman is spending the days with his family at their 17th century villa in Lombardy, Italy. He soon meets Oliver, a handsome doctoral student who's working as an intern for Elio's father. Amid the sun-drenched splendor of their surroundings, Elio and Oliver discover the heady beauty... I think I said that right. Heady? Anyways. Heady beauty of... awakening desire over the course of a summer that will alter their lives forever.
That just sounds cute.
It's very cute if you don't look at the age difference.
There was quite a big age difference. Like, I don't know why they didn't just make him 18. They could have done that and it would have been like a tad more acceptable.
So, in the movie and the book, Elio, the son of the professor...
Is 17.
Yeah. And Oliver, the American doctoral student, is 24. So that's a 7-year age difference. And Elio is underage. He's not underage in Italy, but in
if you go to America,
I think in Italy it's 14. I looked it up, and the age of consent is 14.
That's
okay
really young.
But you see, you can't really say underage because if you really if you go to Disney and look at that, Snow White was 13, the prince was like in his 20s, 30s.
Yeah, that's just we should not normalize that.
So you can't really say that's the big age gap or anything like that.
I can.
Well, they have a big age gap, but it wasn't.
It's not the worst.
Underage.
It's not the worst, but it's still bad.
Yeah, because
I
there's
mean-
still... Wait, how many years is that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
It's 7.
Yeah, it's
So-
like...
Yeah, but if you just think about it, all the movies you see nowadays kind of
Well,
just have
not,
like
a lot of them.
Well, a
But,
few
like,
of them
some
have
of them are
them.
still like, oh, they're like 10 years apart. Or like, I was reading something maybe, or watching something, or maybe I saw an article. I don't know. It was one of the three.
Whatever. Yeah.
And I think I was looking at celebrities with the bigger age gaps, and some of them have like 10 or 15 years apart.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of celebrity couples, and you're like, oh, they're fine. And then it's like, no, they're like 10, 20 years apart. And it's like, what?
I mean,
Yeah.
Snow White was 14 and the prince was 31. My
Oh.
bad.
That's
Fun.
like twice our age, man.
And look at it. It's literally,
15 years age gap.
it's literally saying creepy and illegal. Yes.
Yeah.
To any
Yeah.
Disney fans out there,
It's a Disney movie. We all know those princess movies have huge age gaps. It's creepy as hell.
I
Okay.
mean,
I do
So,
not apologize.
about Call Me By Your Name.
Yes.
This book, first of all, was written by a straight man, as far as we know.
What? Yeah.
A straight
Was
man. I saw that. I hope he's straight. I
I'm
hope
so
I didn't just
sorry.
misinform.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like,
so.
if we're misinformed, correct us.
Yeah.
Do
And
that.
this book perpetuates the idea that gay men are predators. So this
Yeah.
is very common stereotype that gay men are dangerous and they prey on little boys. And this book is not helping that stereotype. It is perpetuating
Did you
it.
read or watch the movie?
I watched the movie.
I watched the movie
I couldn't
and
read
made
the book.
I made it like halfway through the book, and then I got bored and was like, eh.
There's a really gross scene that I just didn't want to encounter, so I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's fair. It gets weird.
And you don't need
I
to
kinda
know.
I like the town part, like in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like a small town in Italy, and everything's so nice. And honestly, his summer would, man, I want to go live in Italy. But like, yeah, the plot itself was weird.
Okay, so that aside, number 10 on the list, I didn't go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just went through the ones that I knew. So number 10 is my absolute favorite movie. It's God's Own Country. So it has, Call Me By Your Name has 94 Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
94%. So then God's Own Country has 98%, just like Moonlight. So the synopsis. In Yorkshire, a young, unhappy farmer is living with his grandmother and sickly father. He numbs his frustrations with drinking and casual sex until a Romanian migrant worker sets him up on a new path.
That actually sounds pretty interesting.
It's my favorite movie.
Yeah, it sounds good.
There are naked penises in it, though, so
Yay.
don't watch if you don't want to see a penis or two.
Oy.
But anyways, so my favorite part about this movie is that the young unhappy farmer, his name is John, I think. I hope.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, so John is like this, he's a not a good person. Well, morally. He's not like a bad person, but some people would look down on his
Morals?
his activities. So he gets this Romanian migrant worker to come along, Georgi, and I remember his name. So he comes from Romania and he starts working on the farm that John lives on, and they fall in love, and it's amazing. It's honestly, it's at the start, it feels kind of like not the best relationship, but then again, it's not as bad as others. But at the end, they show good communication and they want to be together, and it's my favorite movie. It's so good. Okay, so enough about that. Number 20.
Oh.
Love, Simon.
Yeah, Love, Simon. So I've only seen the movie. I haven't gotten around to watching the book yet.
Watching the book.
Reading the book.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean. And it has a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes.
92.
Not
32.
92. The synopsis is, everyone deserves a great love story, but for 17-year-old Simon Spiner, it's a little more complicated. He hasn't told his family or friends that he's gay, and he doesn't know that the identity of the anonymous classmate that he has fallen for online. Resolving both issues proves hilarious, terrifying, and life-changing. I watched the movie. It was pretty good. Like, it wasn't, like, super amazing or anything. It's, like, what you expect it to be for a coming-of-age teen comedy, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it was okay. But it was still pretty funny, so, like, I liked it, so.
My one issue with the movie is that I read the book before I watched the movie, and in the movie, the way that Simon falls for his classmate that he doesn't know, like he doesn't know his identity.
Yeah, because they've been emailing and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
they email, and they emailed so much in the book. Like, that was, like, a main part of the book, and then in the movie, I saw, like, one email.
Yeah,
It was sad, because I loved how they communicated. So watch it, because it's good, but just know the book is better.
Other queer movies. So I've seen Disclosure, which is this amazing trans documentary on Netflix about representation, trans representation in the media and how it's changed. And it talks with, like, different, like, famous queer actors and stuff, like Laverne Cox or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I saying her name right?
Yeah.
It's really good. They show, like, a bunch of clips from different movies and stuff, and they talk about trans representation. And it was really good. I've rewatched it a couple of times, and it's definitely one of my favorite trans movies, especially considering since you don't get whole lot of trans representation.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, and another queer movie I've seen was, you know that cowboy one? The one with...
Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah.
I watched that very recently.
I watched it, like, during the summer or something. It was okay. Like, I like the cowboys, but otherwise it's just, like... I don't know. What was your opinion?
Okay, I loved the movie just because it's sad. I love sad movies, but again, bury your gays. The two men did not ever marry like they wanted to.
I think it kind of sucks. I think they should have been able to, like, get their own little ranch in the mountains and just live their lives out.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So, Brokeback Mountain was... Sad gay, yes. It was about two cowboys who worked together for the first time in a summer on a mountain range.
Mountain range. Okay.
I guess you could call it a ranch. Yeah. So they, this is not an official synopsis. I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up.
Summarizing.
Okay. Yeah,
We're summarizing it.
Yeah. So, they
get together during the mountains, and then they, like, have to, like, leave each other, and because it was only, like, a temporary job. So they go out and they live their lives, except the movie is about their different meetings throughout their lives. So sometimes they'll get together every couple of years and, you know.
Yes, because they live in completely different states and
they end up, like, getting married and having wives and kids in their different lives because they have to. And it's like do you know what year it was set in?
I have no idea.
But it was like the older times where, you know, stuff like that's not really acceptable.
And
that's the word.
Spoilers, skip like 15 seconds ahead, if you don't want to hear. What's his name? Oh God, Jake Gyllenhaal, whoever his character was, got killed. End.
He dies, and at the end, and then there's, like, the sad scene where his partner goes to his house, and it was good.
He takes his parka that they wore
together.
Yeah, not together. It's not big enough for that. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so now books. So these are books with good representation.
Have you read all of them?
I have read. No, I've read 1, 2. Okay, maybe I won't talk about the one that I actually don't know anything about. But okay, no, I will. Okay, so Here the Whole Time by Victor Martin. I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm so bad at names. Anyways, so this guy, Felipe, who's fat, and just so you know, fat is not a bad word. It's only a bad word when you use it to insult someone.
Yeah.
And we're not. Okay, so Felipe has to spend 15 days with his lifelong crush because his crush, Cow, oh God, I don't know how to it's CAIO. So his crush, Cow's parents are going on a vacation and they fall in love, of course.
Because that's what this book is. It's a gay romance.
CAIO, is that Chow?
No, that's CIAO.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's set in Brazil because Vitor Martin is Brazilian, I think. And it's amazing. I love it because
So you read it then?
yeah. So I read this in like 9 days, which is a record low for me because I read things during like 6 months. So there was a lot about the gay aspect, the LGBTQ plus aspect, and then there was also a lot about how Felipe was fat and how he wanted to accept himself. And Cal, oh god, that sounds wrong. Yeah, anyways, helps Felipe accept himself. So it's amazing.
Yeah, representation is great.
Mm-hmm. And you never see a fat main character, ever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So then, Giovanni's Room. I've never read it. I've read the start, and I'm just a really slow reader.
Heard that
so, it was set in the 50s in Paris? Yeah. So, the synopsis. The book focuses on the events in the life of an American man living in Paris and his feelings and frustrations with his relationships with other men in his life, particularly an Italian bartender named Giovanni, whom he meets at a Parisian gay bar. So it's by James Baldwin, so we know it's good. So we don't have many comments because we haven't read it. Then the Henna Wars. So this is by Abida I don't know how to say her last name. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Girdar. Girdar? I don't know. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
We're trying, we apologize.
Yes. So the synopsis. When Nishat comes out to her parents, they say she can't be anyone she wants. They say she can be anyone she wants, as long as she isn't herself. Because Muslim girls aren't lesbians. Nishat doesn't want to hide who she is, but she also doesn't want to lose her relationship with her family. And her life only gets harder once a childhood friend walks back into her life. Flavia is beautiful and charismatic, and Nishat falls for her instantly. But when a school competition invites students to create their own businesses, both Flavia and Nishat choose to do henna, even though Flavia is appropriating Nishat's culture. Amidst sabotage and school stress, their lives get more tangled, but Nishat can't quite get rid of her crush on Flavia, and realizes there might be more to her than she realized. So this is, I wish I've already read it, but I haven't. I will eventually. I can't promise that because it's YA, and I might not be interested in that forever, but I will try and read it. So then one middle grade book that I read in elementary school, I think, is Gracefully Grayson by Amy Polonsky. So, the synopsis. Grayson Sender has been holding on to a secret for what seems like forever. He is a girl on the inside, stuck in the wrong gender's body. The weight of this secret is crushing, but sharing it would mean facing ridicule, scorn, rejection, or worse. So this is obviously about a trans girl, and I read it years ago, so all I remember is that it's a good book from my elementary school self. So if you want to read about trans people in a digestible way as a high schooler, I'm assuming a lot of you are high schoolers listening.
Hopefully.
Hopefully you're not like 50.
Oh, teachers listen to this.
Oh, teachers listen. So if you want to read a middle grade book, which is like books for like younger kids,
yeah.
It's like less than YA, which is young adult. So this is a very good book to read. Gracefully Grayson by Amy Polonsky.
Yeah. Books I've read or I'm currently reading. I read Carry On, which is currently it's the first book to this trilogy by Rainbow Rowell. It was pretty good. It's about essentially these two characters. It's like a fantasy thing, right? So there's like, they go to this magical wizarding school, and one of them is a vampire, and and the other is like supposed to be like the chosen one kind of or whatever, and it was really good. Like they get together and it's this whole romance thing, and it was pretty good. It's like a trilogy now, so I read that, and I also read I Wish You All the Best, which is this it's this story written by a non-binary person about a non-binary character who recently got kicked out of their home, and they live with their sister now, and they go to a new high school, and it's about them learning to be themselves, and it was really good. And If I Was Your Girl, which is the book I'm currently reading, it's about this trans girl who recently moved, her parents are divorced, and she recently moved away from her mother to go live with her father so she could restart her life as a girl in her high school. And it was really good. Like, I'm still reading it. I've got like 50 pages left, but it was a really good book. Definitely recommend it. And Always Human is this comic I read originally online, which is this it's like a futuristic sci-fi. It's about these two girls who meet at a train station, and they kind of like go on a date and stuff, and it's super futuristic, and it was really, really good because they go to like space and stuff, and it was good. That's all I have to say about my favorite books. So.
And I have read a book that isn't out yet, but I beta read it, which means like I read it to give feedback to the author.
You can do that?
Yeah.
How do you... Where did you
I did it
find
through Instagram because I followed a certain account, and that was the author, and I pressed the yes on the poll. Do I want to beta read? So it's called Radio Apocalypse, and you can find an Instagram account for the novel. It's, I'm pretty sure, at Radio Apocalypse Novel, and if you look that up, you'll find it eventually. So
yeah.
hopefully I don't have it horribly wrong. But it's I'm not going to say too much because it's not out yet, but it's about two girls who fall in love through a radio station at the end of the world.
Cool.
And it is fantasy, I would say. Yeah.
It's like Apocalypse, right?
Yeah. So Apocalypse, and there's monsters. So it's very cool. So once that comes out, definitely read it because it's a teen author too. So
cool.
You know, support teens because we're cool and awesome.
Yeah.
So, do we have any final thoughts?
Queerbaiting is bad. Don't support companies who do it. And read good queer representation because there's a ton of good queer rep out there.
Yes. So that is the end of our 7th episode.
River,
Ripley,
and Avery
signing off.
River.